What's up, everybody? My name is Jessie. Today is Thursday, February. Hi, everybody. My name is Jessie. I am currently living at the. It wasn't the smartest idea. I had to pay FAFSA back some money, but I ended up. There's some people walking by. What's up, everybody? My name's Jessie. Today, I'm going to start a video blog, and it's going to follow what I do over the next couple years in the progress of me becoming a music producer, hopefully. Cross my fingers. Following my dreams is the ultimate goal. So, I'm going to start off by telling you guys a little bit about myself. I am currently living in Gravois Mills, Missouri at the Lake of the Ozarks. This summer, I've worked at the wonderful Coconuts Caribbean, just to my right over there. I'm sitting on the dock. We are closed during the week now. It is September. It's been a crazy, wild summer. I've learned a lot. I've worked hard. I've played hard. And I have this summer to thank for where I am now. I came down here at the start of the summer with an idea that I was going to come down here, make enough money so I could move to Vegas and out of the Midwest at the end of the summer. Vegas is really affordable for someone like me, 22 years old, dropped out of college last year. We'll talk about that more later. I'm a bartender. I wanted to move to Vegas because it would be one spot of the entertainment industry I could afford to be at, and I would take the next step in what I wanted to do, which was at that point in time be some sort of music business professional, manager, promoter, event, venue, something like that. I don't know. I wanted to go out to Vegas and hopefully find an internship at one of the clubs. I was thinking the Winter Encore just because those are the places I'm familiar with. That's where I met Skrillex last summer. We'll talk about that later too. I know, however, that there are other places that I could have gotten jobs. Omnia is one name I know of. Dre's, something like that. I wanted to hopefully find an internship in the entertainment profession, but also I would have to bartend on the side. I was looking at going to school online for music business, that kind of stuff. Well, when I came down here, I changed my perspective a little bit. I met people who told me things that they did that changed my perspective. This whole place, just being down here, I became a happier person in general. I just completely changed everything. And when I was in high school, I always thought, I grew up in Overland Park, Kansas. People from there are familiar with the term the Johnson County bubble. It's a very, people who live in Overland Park are definitely not, are well-off people live there. It's a nice part of the world. And it is, I was always, grew up thinking that I needed to go to college, I needed to get a degree, I needed to get a job, pay the bills, and that was about it. I went to K-State at first because that was my only options were KU or K-State. I wanted to get a little bit further away from home. At K-State, I studied hospitality. I wanted to be a hotel manager. My idea there was I was worked in restaurants since I was 15. I knew the hospitality world, but I didn't want to work in restaurants as an adult. I wanted to work in a hotel and travel and get to go wherever I wanted in the world managing hotels. I quickly learned that K-State was not the place for me because I am not a country girl, so I transferred to KU, where I had said my entire life I was never going to go to KU, simply because I didn't enjoy people I knew were KU fans. Everyone growing up who was a KU fan was not an enjoyable person in my life, so I thought anyone who goes to KU is going to be a dickhead, so I decided not to go to KU. But I ended up there anyways, and I loved it. Lawrence was great. I learned a lot about myself in Lawrence. I learned a lot about the world in Lawrence. I did enjoy some parts of school at KU. I liked rhetoric, which is strange. There was one class everybody hated. It's not like I loved the class, but I felt like I learned a lot in the class. Robert Rowland taught it. He was a very smart man, funny at sometimes. We all laughed at him a little bit. He was an interesting little man, cried a little bit, but he was smart, and I felt like I learned a lot from him. And I liked rhetoric. I took a class one summer. It was the rhetorical tradition. I had to read this nasty book, Aristotle and Socrates and Plato and that kind of stuff, but it was all about rhetoric, and I enjoyed it, and I still pick that book up from time to time these days. I thought I wanted to do rhetorical communications. When I went to KU, my original thought was I would do photography. I did photography in high school. I was pretty good at it. I quickly learned that I was changing my art to get an A. Decided I didn't want to do that anymore. I switched over because I thought maybe I wanted to be a history teacher, so I did that for a minute. No, not my thing. Then I just defaulted to communications because that with that degree you can practically do whatever you would like to. So I did that for a little while. I quit in my 4th year of college just because I couldn't really handle it anymore. There were some things that just were really hitting me hard at that time, which really weren't even that bad. But I just didn't want to do it anymore, so I quit. And it probably wasn't the best decision. You know, you owe money to the government when you quit school. Had to do that. But in the end, it was the best decision for myself. I came down to the Lake of the Ozarks. I followed in the footsteps of some very close friends of mine who did this last year, some girls who have motivated me and taught me a lot. And they were here last year. They brought me down here. I lived with them. I lived with them and 13 other people who also work here. I learned a lot from those people. I came down here so rewind, a while back, a good friend of mine, Dakota, he and I at one point in time planned on moving to California together. Dakota wanted to buy a house when we lived in California, and I never liked that idea because I thought if we buy a house, we're gonna get stuck in California. I'll have to pay a mortgage. I don't want to. Maybe I want to move out of California in 5 years. I don't know. But then when I came down here, I met a girl who she had traveled through Thailand and Australia in the winter. She worked at Coconut Theater Pass, and then she traveled in the winter, and she came back here and told us all of her stories. And she told me about how she wanted to buy a duplex and own a duplex and live on one side of it and rent out the other side. Keep all of her things on one side, and that would be her home base, and she would travel and rent out the other side of the duplex so she would make money on it as well. And I had never thought of the idea that you could rent out a property that you own. And I never thought of the benefits of owning a property. And little things like that, that's just a small example of how the lake life has changed my perspective on things. And Dakota, just want to touch on that. Dakota was a huge inspiration to me and many others, huge motivation, a wonderful, wonderful man. Dakota unfortunately passed away in March. That was a very big hit in a lot of our lives, and it is a very big motivation for why a lot of people close to me, a lot of people in my life, a lot of people in his life, there's people down here that I talk about to Dakota who say they feel like they knew him just from us talking about him. He has influenced and inspired so many people. If you go to soundcloud.com/DakBix, that's DAKBIX, I'll put a link on here. You can listen to some of his music. He was a music producer, closest thing to a brother I will ever have. He was my best friend, Mackenzie Bixler's brother. He's just a huge reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now. And I'll tell more about him, but you all should definitely check out his SoundCloud. Fast forwarding, Dakota is one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing now, because I've always wanted. He used to talk to me when he was making music. He'd want me to, make album art for him or help him come up with video ideas because I was a photographer. I did some creative things. I never really took the time to help him make art because I was always so wrapped up in myself and trying to figure out what I was going to do and trying to do things that I didn't actually really want to do. When I did photography, I loved photography, but every time I'd sit down at my computer and I'd work on something, I would just, get bored of it. And I have always talked about doing something with music. I like to write. I keep a journal. I keep a lot of journals actually because they fill up pretty fast, but I write down any thought that I ever have. I write maybe poems. I guess you could call them poems. They're not great. I try and write songs. Sometimes I write pieces. I write about things. I write about things that I observe and I experience, and I write little pieces about different stuff. A lot of it's about music. A lot of it's just about my life in general. I used to think I wanted to write about music. I thought I'd make a music blog, and that's how I'd get famous. I thought maybe I could work for YourEDM.com or Dancing Astronaut, or even one day, the ultimate goal, the Rolling Stone. Then I thought maybe I want to be a manager or a tour, a producer or a promoter or something like that. And so I thought I'd go to school for music business online. And I thought, okay, now my ultimate goal is to run Ultra Music Festival. I've got a tattoo on my shoulder. It's an ultra, it's the center of a sun. I love Ultra Music Festival. Anybody who has ever known me just knows how obsessed I am with that music festival. I know EDC is great, okay, but it's just not my thing. ultra is just where my heart belongs. Everyone knows that about me. I thought one day I'm gonna run Ultra Music Festival, and it's just all of those things are things that I wanted to do, but they're never anything that I ever fully dove into because I just never there's something else I've always wanted to do more. I've wanted to, I'll put off going to school for that because I want to do this music festival now instead. Or I'm going to go work at Coconuts all summer and I'll make my money and then I'll go do it. But here I am at the end of the summer and I don't have enough money to do it because I didn't actually care about putting away money to do it. And then one day I was driving back to the lake. I'd gone home for a little bit, came back, was driving, listening to music, trying not to think about things that I didn't want to think about. And I was imagining myself on stage. I was imagining myself talking about Dakota, and I was imagining myself, getting the crowd dancing and getting them all to dance the way I was dancing. And I was listening to the song Thief by OK. And I was thinking one day this song will be like a throwback, and I'll get on stage and I'll say, hey guys, we're going to take it back a little bit, listen to this song. And I thought, why am I not trying to do that? It's what I've always wanted to do. In 5th grade, in the yearbook, when they told me to write what I wanted to put down as what I wanted to be when I grew up, my initial thought was singer, but I put down photographer because I've always wanted to be a singer. You don't want to hear me sing. I'm not a great singer, I promise you that. But I wanted to be a stage performer even when I was in 5th grade. But I wrote down photographer because it was the more practical option. I've always thought I need to be practical. I need to do what I can actually do. I never thought that I could actually be famous, be a rock star. And then one day it just clicked, like, there's no reason why you shouldn't go for what you want. There's no reason why I should do 75% of what I want because it's practical. I should go all the way. I should hit throttle and just go all the way for what I want. And I decided in that moment I was going to do it. And so I went online. I found a school for a music production degree online, and I've enrolled in it. I start this week. I bought an acoustic guitar. I've had a guitar, an electric guitar, since I was 14 years old. I have not picked it up since I was 14 years old, and so I had to take it to the store to get it fixed. And while I was in the store, I bought an acoustic guitar so I can practice. I am going to move to Marco Island, Florida with my grandparents, save some money, spend some time with them. I'm going to isolate myself from social constructs and sit and teach myself how to play music, and I'm going to follow my dreams. There is a song by Axwell and Grosso. There's actually a lot of songs by Axwell and Grosso. You should check them out. Any person who likes any kind of music would like them just because their lyrics are so motivational. That this one particular song that's always spoke to me is called Dream Bigger. I've always said to everybody, dream bigger. There's no reason why you should put a cap on your dreams. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to dream big, and I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to put in everything that I can, and I'm going to check back with you guys, let you know how it's going. If I picked up my guitar for you right now and played a little bit, you just laugh at me, but I'm probably going to do that in one of the next few videos just so you can see the progress, because hopefully one day I'll be able to pick up my guitar and play something beautiful for you and beautiful for everyone in my life, for Dakota, for my mom. When I'm famous, I'm going to send my mom all over the world. I promise you that. She deserves it. All of my friends, we're all going to be famous. Everyone in my life deserves to be famous, and I'm going to help make that happen. We're going to be famous, guys. Don't worry. All of my friends, all of my creative, smart, beautiful friends, everyone, we're going to be famous. It's going to happen, and don't worry. And I'm going to let you all watch.